Hi, my name is Poeartistry. I am excited to welcome you to James Poeartistry Productions. You are tuning into an incredible experience known as Poeartistry Gold, where we delve into the art of commentary, storytelling and poetry. We aim to bring you inspiring and thought-provoking content.
This is a Poeartistry Gold moment by the author James Lynch.
Good day, perceptive readers. Welcome to Poeartistry Gold number 158. And on this day, I have to tell you, it is all about intriguing, happiness, and enjoying life. That's what it's about. And yet, it's going to be very interesting, I think, because of the subject matter that I am sharing with you. I mean, in several really different sections, if you will, of the way that I'm talking, but they still all combine together. And I'm hoping that you will see the connections and the transitions go smoother, whether I'm totally really making a reference or not, that we're moving on to the next subject. But I think you will still enjoy it. And so this Poeartistry Gold number 158 will not be in the time frame. You know, I normally try to keep it within the 10-minute time frame, but this one, I'm just going to take my time expressing each thought. The first one actually deals with an opportunity to really take time to sit back and really relax when you can. If you have vacation, you know, I've always encouraged, just like many of these hardworking and even first responders and these type of occupations, I mean, you normally get really almost like 30 days each year with pay to enjoy, you see, being able to go not the whole year without being able to enjoy a vacation, without being able to enjoy a day off. And so some persons actually take those days really, you know, in the the second quarter of the year, or spring or summer, sometime in there. And then the fourth quarter, you see, during the winter months, during the holiday seasons, they kind of break those vacations up. And then some persons don't take them at all. And what can happen during these times? You know, I actually thought about doing a report. I was going to have Poeartistry, you know, my advanced intelligence secretary that I use to make another report based on some of the things that I've said over the years about the importance of vacation and taking a day off or so, or what have you, if you don't want to take a whole week or so off or what have you. What it does for you is it recalls back, not only in your mind that you need rest, but it also recalls back, I would say, the proper emotions and view of life that we're supposed to have. There are some jobs that go into dealing with very, very tough situations, even beyond the emergencies of, you know, normally just helping people who have fallen down or what have you. But you deal with the seriousness of life on a level where persons will even say, man, you deal with, let's say, monstrosities or monsters for living. And there's actually another statement that has been made that, what they say, be careful that if you fight with monsters, that then you don't even turn into one in the process. I would say vacations actually help to defend and ward off ever having that type of view of life. You see, that type of view of life. You know, people will ask, why do I do what I do? And so Sometimes, yes, it's all well and good where you have some persons that I would consider just soldiers for protecting our way of life. Haven't you heard that or what have you? And I would say that even on the spiritual level and around the world, people sometimes view the spirit realm for doing that, which that's exactly what, those type of angels do. Yes. I'm still talking about in the physical realm, though, all the same, we have these different responsibilities that or occupations people take. And they're on guard practically, really, even when they're not on guard. It's like they're still on guard 24 hours a day. It's like a heightened state of living or what have you. Yet, guess what? There are still certain opportunities, remember I was saying breaks that they take at times where it was like they knew their mind was finally getting the other aspects of rest and relaxation that it truly needs. Let me share something with you. See, recently I had the opportunity to even enjoy a fine meal. Let me tell you, a fine meal. That doesn't mean I don't get to eat good food. You see, but I'm talking about, when somebody say, well, they used to say, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for this? What do you want for that? Or what have you? And then there's a special meal that you may request that you just won't request any other time of the year or in years. And then you request it for that time. And then when you get to enjoy it, it's almost like, yeah, that's what life is all about. And then even if you travel to a certain place and you enjoy conversation, you see happy faces, people who are in that same type of maybe mode that you're in or mindset that you're in, the universe and the sun and the moon is just having the wonderful effect that it is supposed to have on the human body in the first place, in the mind and the spirit. And you can engage in conversations that you haven't engaged in a while. You can actually talk about subject matters that would normally just, because you've been working so much, frustrate you to no ends. You hear me? Frustrate you to no ends because you've been working nonstop for no telling how long, But then, because finally, your mind and your emotions have, decompressed in the way that was truly necessary. It's like, hey, you're coming back to your senses again. And then not only are you able to talk about that subject, but guess what? You can even be empathetic towards the situation or the person normally that you might even say, you better get out my face. Do you see what I'm talking about, perceptive readers? See, I'm sharing this for a reason to help people to fully understand that, see, the longer people are put under pressure at times, you have, one set of persons that say that, hey, see, this individual is qualified to do this or qualified to do that. They won't break under pressure in this way or that way. Yet that is still coming at a cost for everyday living. So that's why I always say, it depends on what type of job or what type of occupation you want in life. The same person that I would say sometimes can withstand a lot of pressure, a lot of, oh my goodness, ongoing mess or what have you, and deal with it. I'm just telling you in general, then their mindset will not just be, that's my argument I would make, and I think it's already been proven, to still handle some other type of situation that requires being ongoing, empathetic, and sympathetic towards people whether they deserve it or not, you see. And yet those same type of individuals who are under that intense pressure all the time, when they do take that vacation that's due them, when they are able to actually spend their money and resources in a setting that's is really all about them and their mental health and their spirituality, then they're able to really still see when somebody say, well, what are we fighting for anyway? Well, you know what? They'll be able to still come to their mind and say, this is the life we're still fighting for right now. And this is the life, yes, at times we have to, yes, continue to fight to keep it. You see, so you just have persons who work hard in that way. And it shouldn't ever be forgotten, as I told you, persons can fight with monsters for so long that then it can just start looking like that's all life is supposed to be about, just fighting one another, just pushing each other's views and things of that nature and philosophies upon others, even without being civil anymore. Now, I'm speaking about this on the first level because we still do know on another level, and it gets into higher beings of in the spirit realm and stuff like that, that yes, that's what they literally do nonstop, is always trying to mislead people and to cause problems. So you know you have that all around you, and yet from reading spiritual books like the Holy Bible, it talks about it throughout that persons can literally still be happy no matter what situation they may have. It still shows other situations where persons were on, I want to call vacation, festivals or what have you. Well, they still just loved life. They were happy. God describes, and he describes that type of happiness will be in his new world all the time, nonstop. Whether you're jumping around or not, it's, in other words, we've had persons talk about this. I've talked about this or described it, that happiness is really going to be the norm of the day, not the exception, even though that may sound far-fetched. But hey, you can look at some people right now today. I wanted to make a joke where it seems like, yeah, they always on a vacation because they're always happy. But let me tell you again, like I said recently, being a person that was able to appreciate a favorite meal that, you know, I wasn't able to have such an extravagant meal like that in a long time. And to also mention, you know how I write in my books about the sage relaxing sips. You see, I know just the sound of that, it may sound like, boy, that's one author, he must be drinking every day. And the reality is, no. You know, I you know, just the way that, remember I talk about working and developing ideas and technology and security. Man, it requires a lot of research in this way or that way, and a lot of other stuff. And I'll let you know that, you know, some persons probably the same similar circumstances as mine. Here it is. What day is it? We're in the month of May. Now, would you believe me if I told you that the beverage that I had recently, which was certainly way stronger than lemonade, that was the first beverage I had like that in the year of 2026. Look at that. Here it is, May. And I know that may sound unbelievable. You probably say, you mean that man write those type of books? And you mean he only had one of those strong drinks this year? Well, somebody probably saying, maybe you want to go back a few decades and and then you see he probably still rinsing out. No, woo! No, but I'm just joking. But anyway, I'm on the roll today. But let me get back to what I was saying about being civil. I told you I still listen to people who got a lot of experience in life, and especially when it deals to what I would say actually adjusting and correcting people and things of that nature. And even listening to their presentations at times, in a minute I'll say, yes, that is correct. You see, in this way and that way, especially when it's just, talking about society and why people do the things the way that they do them. And from some of these persons, they'll tell you in a minute, even in the system, it is not acting in this way or pursuing justice because it cares about you. Now, isn't that a darn shame, the way to think about it, you see? And yet, this is the way, I know some persons do view and carry out why they will act on the matter if this and that. It's like they won't go out on a limb for nothing, for nobody, unless really it seems like totally you got your P's and Q's, your T's, your P's and your T's. What is it? You dot your I's and you cross your T's and things of that nature. And even then, it won't always be acted upon just because of the situation, you see. And yet at the same time, these same persons will also make it seem like, according to their view, is no reason in really even talking about it, doing anything about it in the first place, or talking out loud about it, or what have you. And as you know, see, I'm one of those persons, and I do believe the spiritual books of the Holy Bible certainly back me up 100% in it, because I wouldn't even have this type of thought or view if I didn't get it from the Holy Bible, or to have this thought and view on matters that I say and will continue to say. Speaking about it does matter. I've actually heard persons who did have that view that I already mentioned to you about, just let the universe reveal it in this way or that way. And I always say, well, how is the universe revealing it? And it still ends up coming through, oftentimes, through humans talking about it. Through humans willing to talk about it. And there are different speakers for different people. So you have some speakers that I told you that can be as a matter of fact, and persons will be like, oh yeah, I get it, I understand it. And then you have some speakers, ashamed to say, that they had to talk about your mama for you to get it. Remember those shows back in the 70s or 80s where they was talking about Scared Straight? I think they still do stuff like that or what have you. And yet, shame to say, there were actually some people that still said that they weren't going to be reached any other way. Now, that's amazing in itself. Well, still along those same thoughts, that's what I'm telling you still about you first responders. Taking your vacations and breaks when you can. Why? Because sometimes certain informations, certain recalling back why you're doing what you're doing in the first place is just not going to come back in the way that it needs to come back without giving your heart that rest, without giving your mind that rest, without being able to enjoy all your hard work in the first place. Yes, you better believe it. There's different ways to reach different persons. And I say again, people who already have shown and proven themselves to be mindful and sound in that manner, if I can use that word, this is what reaches their heart and mind. They just don't need some of these other methods that people like to call upon to justify. When I would say again, they be on the border of abuse, and then the person who is being abused is just thanking them left and right for it. And I got some interesting mindsets. But I say for some of those mindsets is because they literally don't know any better. But people who end up being in those first responder positions, even if they came from a background like that, see, in their learning and enlightened state, they realize, this is still the way that we need to do things here in this situation, that situation. And what I want to still say as the last point about reading about God's world, God's new world, the paradise, earth, and things of that nature, God has clearly said that everyone is going to be happy. And it's not going to be like, that other movie I like to reference about The Giver. On one hand, it was like everything was so perfectly looking and clean and sterile and language and everything else. Yet the underlying still way that society was functioning, it was very much, I don't even want to use the language that I want to use, but it wasn't good. The way that movie or in the books you see bring it out. So the point is, some of the persons were of that mindset in that book because they looked at people in general, humanity in general, are just incapable of doing what's right to still keep the society functioning in a way that it's supposed to. And so, they took it upon themselves, that top hierarchical structure to make decisions in ways at times, sometimes the ones that straight up were, some people probably consider crimes against humanity, even though they were doing it in such a sanitized way. That's what I'm going to say. And they just did that. Well, when I tell you about what I read in God's book, the Holy Bible, and the paradise earth, see, it's like we're literally going to be happy, and it's not going to be some type of naive and in ignorance type of happiness either. You see, as to all the reason why people are happy because they don't know no better. No, we're going to have our senses together, and we're going to truly be happy. And my encouragement continues to be to persons who are helping others, no matter what your occupation in this way or that way, is to still remember, carry out your responsibilities in a way that the earth is going to be to a point one day where it's like, no, you don't have to, almost like feel like you got to herd people's mind and thinking in a way of humanity in such a way where it's almost like, are you sure they really going to be happy, or are they just going to be influenced by so many other type of methods that's more based on control and breaking a person or this and that way? And see, when we could go into, I told you, different philosophies, even statements made in the Bible, the way persons apply things in this way or that way. And I've come to the conclusion on some of these statements or views that people have, even about those type of scriptures, that they're not exactly seeing why it was said or the spirit of having to implement occur. But I'm not going into that. What I'm still saying is the way that we still carry out our responsibilities in general, we don't still have to still be trying to figure out how we're going to trick humanity to do right. We don't have to do that. You see, because even if a person doesn't believe in God or spirituality or what have you, I tell you what, all this type of talk has come about that people still mention every day has come more from the levels of spirituality and people who were spiritual in the world than from people who just didn't believe in God at all. So anyway, thank you for being here with me. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful day. This was Poeartistry Gold number 158.